Soucouyant is an old, wise, terrifying woman who has the capacity to change into a ball of fire as a result of coming out of her skin. To come out of her skin, she has to go to a graveyard at 12 o'clock on a night when they have no moon, and with a black penny dig out the liver of a freshly buried corpse. With that, she makes an oil, and it is with the use of the oil that she is able to emerge out of her skin, turn into a ball of fire, leave the skin in a mortar, and fly through the night looking for somebody to suck out their blood.
This is, I don't know, it's one of those witch stories that come from way back when, but was translated that way in Trinidad. Maybe Soucouyant resembles the word succubus, so it could have been again connected with that. Creatures that suck the blood of their victims might be related to the vampire as well. The Soucouyant was a very important control factor in, I'd say, in village society, for children in particular. If you don't say your prayers, your mommy warn you, the Soucouyant will come and get you.
There's a theory that the vampire tradition was brought to Trinidad by some old French families. And these people, these old French people who brought a vampire tradition to Trinidad, lived very closely with African people, slaves, who also had a vampire tradition, who also possessed a tradition of changing into a creature that will draw the blood from someone. And it is out of this interface of cultures, a syncretic event took place that created Soucouyant.
It does happen. It helps Soucouyant. And you're getting more in the rural areas and country areas. I believe what the people say, the old people, that they don't like too much of light. So they wouldn't get down in the city too much because there's bright lights. But in rural areas where they have forest and forested area and all these things, these people, they have some, I will have to use it as just some evil dealings with the devil or something to get that type of power. It have nothing like anything like God in them day. Because to take your body like that, use some kind of prayers or something to get a changeover, and then look to go and fly to get into somebody's house and suck the blood or whatsoever. Well, that is real, some devil kind of power.
Long ago, they took the mouth and pierce it down in the skin. But he wouldn't cut the skin. And pull that blood come right up. When it gets sufficient, then it goes. And leave that mark, that wrong mark of your mouth. That place will get blue, will get black, very painful. And by so they get to know, well, Soucouyant somewhere around the place. So everybody now looking out to see who it is. And now they gather from it, now they're looking for elders now. Might got somebody, you know, they say, but she looks like she passed 60 years, but you can, this is not one now.
This legend is an extremely cruel legend, I mean, because old women who might be suffering from Alzheimer's or dotage, they're a little odd in how they seem to be behaving, and it suggests that we were very uncomfortable at some level with old age, to the extent that we demonized old age.
You have to be very careful with witch stories. Women tend to outlive men, sometimes by several decades. Women tend to inherit property and wealth. And a woman in a village could be in her 90s. She could be a little infirm, but her mind is good. And she owns the house she's living in and probably several acres around the place. It is very easy to make her out to be a Soucouyant or a Diablesse. Perhaps only because she helps people and gives advice to the young and knows how to make different kind of herbal preparations. It is very easy to label her as a Soucouyant or a witch, and it is very easy to commit her to the madhouse or to burn down her house and as a result of that kill her. These are easy things to do. Then the village inherits her land.
At Mayaro, one talks about Soucouyants all the time. And when I was small, it was, I would say, something that people generally believed in. There were few people who would laugh at the Soucouyant story. People believed it was deadly serious. And any older person you saw, particularly if their eyes are a little red or so, you would say this person is a Soucouyant. I remember my mother swearing to all the gods that she was sucked the night before by some Soucouyant who had come to the house. She said, look at the blue mark here. If you meet people my age in Mayaro, I think 9 out of 10 of them would say, oh yes, there is something. There was always the story about how they caught a Soucouyant. They caught her because they caught her skin in a mortar pestle, and they put salt in it, and she couldn't put back her skin on because of the pepper and salt in her skin.
My father told me, he was talking. He said in Mayaro, they get a girl around about 16 to 17, 18 years between them. And so happened that they get to hold the Soucouyant. My father said they put that Soucouyant in a barrel and take nail and nail up the whole barrel and bring it to Princess Town. In the hospital, they had a mortuary there. And people went and see that day. Father said he went and see that. She couldn't put back her skin on her body again. She remained just like that, and she died.
There's a man who told me a story which I found was very useful about catching a Soucouyant on a cistern in Mayaro. And I said to myself, but this man was a schoolmaster. I mean, how ridiculous can you get?
So even when you become sophisticated and all those things, there's a kind of lurking control factor and a kind of a fear, a primal fear that comes up for these stories that lurked in your life from so long. If the Soucouyant came into your house, you turn your broom upside down. She couldn't leave. And also, if you really wanted to get her in trouble, try to get Sunrise to catch her out from her skin. So you would put endless rice on the step before she could leave.
I saw this thing flying across, straight across, this big ball of fire. Well, when I meet the neighbors in the morning and I ask them, was you saw the fire? The neighbor say, yes, she saw a Soucouyant going across there. I say, oh, that is a Soucouyant. Say, yes.